Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Welcome back, Spartan Nation. Now we do our good, bad, ugly, and unsure podcast talking just MSU basketball. He's going to join us later in the week to talk about football and the staff changes. But talking good, bad, or ugly with the MSU basketball team, we bring in the one, the only, the great Coach Chuck Grenier, legendary State of Michigan, prep, high school, football, and basketball coach. Coach, how are you, my friend?
Doing really good today. How are you, Hondo?
Good. You sound 100% better.
Oh, I feel 100% better right now, sure. It was a tough month. Thank you.
Coach, I want to start first of all with this basketball team. And you know, I said before the year and took a ton of criticism, I thought this team would not have as good a record as last year, but at the end would go farther in the tournament and be a better team. But here's the thing I don't think anyone's accepting. They're 15-2, 6-0 in the Big Ten. That wasn't a slam on last year's team with 2 lottery picks and probably the best leader since Draymond Green and Tum Tum. But those kids went through so much crap with the media that was unfair that they just literally ran out of steam. And this team is hitting on all cylinders. I'm going to be honest. They're better right now than where I thought they would be. This team's just nailing it, top to bottom. Coaching, players, everybody. Your thoughts?
No, I can't agree more. I think, when I keep reading this about Izzo saying he doesn't think this team is better than last year, but, you gotta actually look at how you look at it as a team. And I think this group of guys is definitely what I would categorize as a team. And they play so well together, they think together, they work together, and there's complete hustle throughout the game. And I just think this is such a better team. Now, not talent-wise, you just can't take away a Jackson and a Bridges and say this is a better talented team. There's no way on earth that you can say that, but they're doing so much better as a group. It's like a group moving together on the basketball court, and it's really something to see. And I got to take my hat off to the coaching that Izzo is doing this year. He seems, as well as this team is playing, and some of the mistakes that they do, which are really some kind of bonehead stuff once in a while, he keeps his composure better. He is kind of like in the zone with his team. It appears to me, watching him, kind of like in the zone with his team on the floor, and it's so much more positive energy on the sideline going into the breaks and the timeouts, and it's just it's a joy to watch them play.
Coach, I told you this a few years ago, and you kind of knew some inside stuff that I didn't necessarily report. But it started a few years ago when he started to get a different kind of kid, and he has gone through a metamorphosis, hasn't he?
I believe he has. The players that he has on the floor, you can just look at them, and their demeanor on the floor, their demeanor in the huddles, they're just, I guess the best way to put this is in tune with what's going on right there, and they listen, which is, for young kids, sometimes that's a really hard thing to do because I used to use that old phrase, the more that you know, the less that you really know. And these kids seem to just listen and pay attention and nod to themselves like, yeah, you're right. This is what we got to do. So, yeah, he went through a little bit of a metamorphosis, and he seems to be not as wound tightly on the sidelines, but, more direction motivated with his team.
And I think his staff has been absolutely freaking outstanding. Do you not agree?
Oh, yeah, I know. You watch that staff on the sideline, you watch Dwayne Stevens. Dwayne Stevens, it seems to me, when he's talking to players, especially Ward, everything is positive, everything is instructional. Everybody right on down the line, they're just doing a super job.
Yep, absolutely. To me, this has been an absolutely outstanding Spartan team. We're talking to legendary State of Michigan prep high school and football coach, the great Coach Chuck Grenier. Coach will be joining me later this week to do a good, bad, and ugly segment talking about the Spartan football changes. Coach, but sticking with basketball, they lose Joshua Langford, arguably their best player when you look at him defensively and his ability to score. Arguably, I think you could put Cash in there too. In fact, I would put Cash ahead of him, but he's in the argument. He goes down, then Kyle Arns goes down, and they still continue to win. To me, the Penn State win was one of the most impressive because of the margin and down 2 key players. How big was that win over the weekend?
Yeah, let's not forget McQuaid missing games too earlier in the season. And, you got to look at the diamond in the rough on these kind of things. Because those kids have went down and missed games, and they are just, especially, I don't think Matt McQuaid is getting the press or the notoriety that he should right now. I think that kid is just playing with such an air of confidence right now. But every time that those kids are missing games, like this last game, you got 2 starters out in this game where Aaron's actually isn't a starter, but he was starting in the case of Langford. This diamond in the rough is the freshman getting on the floor. Look at the way Aaron Henry is playing right now. That kid is playing so well. He is gaining more and more confidence. Foster Lawyer. The biggest thing I thought I saw yesterday in that ball game was Foster Lawyer taking charges and hitting shots from the outside. Now, when that kid gets his confidence rolling, he was a terrific shooter in high school, just terrific shooter. But now he's starting to get that aspect of his game going in there. He's handling the ball pretty much error-free, and he's taking some time on the floor to give Winston breaks. I thought that was just a terrific ball game. I know they had some really dumb turnovers. Guys fast breaking back on him and getting some sloppy passes. But you got guys down. You're playing a team, and here's one of the things that Izzo has to work on. I think they're playing in a vastly inferior team to you, and sometimes kids just get that in their head that that they're inferior and we can go through this game. But the more that those younger kids can play, Gabe Boone got a lot of time yesterday, so that's going to be a bonus. He's getting more minutes on the floor. These things are all going to help come March.
No argument. I want to talk about 2 guys that I don't think get enough attention. To me, excuse me, I believe both of these guys are the glue that holds the team together. I want to talk first, Kenny Goins. He does things that don't show up in the stat sheet. This kid is just Mr. Glue. This team would not be 15-2 and undefeated in the Big Ten without Kenny Goins. Am I overstating Kenny?
No, I don't think you can overstate Kenny Goins. I mean, solid defense, solid rebounding, solid. He's like watching him play out there. It's like another captain on the floor, another coach on the floor. He directs people. He's verbal, communicates with everybody. He has been the it factor, if you want to put it that way. He is the it factor on that basketball team, and he doesn't seem to make many mistakes. Now, he did yesterday against the Penn State, and he made that sloppy pass to Winston, and the kid back cut and then went for the hoop on that one, but not much you can say wrong or bad about Kenny Goins. He's just doing a terrific job.
And the other guy I want to talk about is Xavier Tillman. This kid is just, again, you want to talk about, commending DJ Stevens. You got to talk about Kenny. You got to talk about Xavier. How awesome is it to watch this kid develop?
Right, you got the it factor, and now you got the X factor we can talk about out there. Yeah, Xavier Tillman. I remember at the beginning of the year, and we were doing like an analysis of the players, and I said, what Xavier Tillman has got to do is he's got to become a better finisher. And I know you are kind of like taken aback by that, but look at what's happening since the season has progressed along that line. He was always good defensively. He was always good communicating with people. He hustled. He rebounded. And the only thing that he didn't have really going for him at that time, or wasn't up to the par, was finishing at the basket. And he's got that going for him now. So, Nick Ward, when Nick Ward steps out of the lineup and it doesn't have a seat, Xavier comes in, and you don't get that brutality that you get under the basket with Ward, but it's a little bit more finesse. But he's there. He makes good plays. He outlets the ball. You know, these two kids, I think Kenny Goins and Xavier Tillman are pretty much the same player coming in because they play outstanding defense, they communicate, they rebound well, and they can finish at the basket, and every once in a while they can step out and pop one. So these kids are just playing extremely well. And I think another important aspect of those two players is that you have, if you will, you have a couple stars on the team as far as shooting. You got Cassius Winston and Joshua Langford, kind of stars, and Matt McQuaid can be in there a little bit. And these guys are reserved in Nick Ward. These guys are reserved to go in and just do the sweat work, the hard work, and be happy with that. And I think you can't say too much about that. That's just great.
He is the one, the only, the great Coach Chuck Grenier. He'll join us later in the week talking about the Spartan football changes. We'll be back.